They unbanned Violent Outburst, and today we're playing one of the most fun decks that you can play with it. Glimpse of Tomorrow combo. Let's go check it out. Let's begin by thanking Wesley for today's donation deck. Wesley, thank you, thank you, thank you. And they wanted to see Violent Outburst, but not Living End. They wanted to see the card Glimpse of Tomorrow. And if you're unfamiliar with it, it's Warped World, but in a suspend form. So you take all the permanents you own, shuffle them into your library, and then you reveal cards from the top, and then you put those cards onto the battlefield if they're permanent. So you're really incentivized to not play spells, but instead play permanents. That's the idea. And how this deck functions is that you have Chancellor of the Forge to make a 1/1 goblin if it's in your opening hand, and then the secondary mode, which is when it enters, you create X1/1 goblins, and then they gain haste equal to the number of creatures you control. That's actually your win condition, but we'll come back to that in a moment. So the important thing is that it makes a 1/1 goblin. And then you also have things like Wave Sifter that create clue tokens, Devouring Sugar Maw, which is amazing here because it makes a 1/1 creature and a food token. And then eventually you have 16 things that can cascade into Glimpse of Tomorrow. You have Atali's Favor, which requires you to have a creature to enchant. And that's why the Chancellor of the Forge, the Colony Garden, and the Devouring Sugar Maw are so valuable because the Atali's Favor requires a creature. So you really want one for this to work. Otherwise, you have Ardent Plea, Violent Outburst, and then Shardless Agent. So you have 16 ways to go find that Glimpse of Tomorrow. And then when you have those 1/1 tokens, the food or clue tokens, and then the same thing with the creatures from Devouring Sugar Maw, etc. Those are the things that you would, in theory, shuffle back in, and then you reveal permanent cards from the top of your deck, and then you get things like Drowner of Truth, Generous End, Trumpety Carnosaur, Chico, Paragon of the Way, which can actually cast a Glimpse of Tomorrow from the graveyard. And you keep on doing this over and over again until you end up with a whole lot of permanents with enough creatures to kill them with Chancellor of the Forge. That's the idea. This deck is a lot of fun, but it's also very random. So that's what we're looking to do here today, is have fun and see what the randomness gives us. So thank you once again to Wesley. I really do appreciate the support, and hopefully you enjoyed the donation deck. I hope all of you enjoyed the donation deck, and if you do, like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way to support the channel. But that's all I've got for now, so we're going to head on into that first match, and I'll see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, cyborg guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicsforum.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicsforum.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1 with Glimpse of Tomorrow combo, and we're on the draw. This hand is garbage. We have to send this one back. Where are our lands? Come on. We'll get rid of the Glimpse of Tomorrow and the Trumpeting Carnosaur. So this actually isn't terrible. I just need to hit a third land. Our opponent plays Urza's Tower into Expedition map. Okay. I am looking for land 3. We'll play Hallowed Fountain. Pass the turn. I don't want to make up my mind on the Flooded Strand yet. Uggin's Labyrinth. Okay. Some sort of colorless deck. Main deck Vaccine Bauble. Why not? Pretty sure our deck is Stone Cold to that card. And he Chalice the Void on 1. We are in trouble. Pass. Another Urza's Tower. I am not going to fetch. I need to find land 3. I'm definitely not going to show them Wave Sifter, because then they're never getting rid of the Vaccine Bauble, and there's a chance that they sacrifice this and draw a card. So I am not going to give them more information than I need to. They play Eldrazi Temple. We draw another Violent Outburst. I will pass. Looks like an Encept Kozilek's Command. They play Urza's Mine. 3 cards still in their hand. I'm going to concede to the Thought-Knots here. I don't want them to know what we're playing. That was a miserable game, not going to lie to you. Firing up a league and hitting Vaccine Bauble Chalice game 1 is not ideal. We'll bring in Magus of the Moon and Foundation Breakers. We do not need Trumpeting Carnosaur. We probably don't need the Shiko Paragon of the Way. Now we're at 61. Maybe we'll get rid of one copy of Atali's Favor. And let's try this. On the play. Yeah, this is great. Keep Chancellor of the Forge. So we'll get our 1/1 Goblin with haste. We'll play Sacred Foundry. Ouch. I'd like the ability to cycle the Generous Scent on their end step because there's a chance we need to use Foundation Breaker on turn 2 into the turn 3 Shardless Agent. So using my mana wisely here. Versus Power Plant. We'll cycle the Generous Scent. Grab a blue mana. The Breeding Pool. Of course, we draw a Glimpse of Tomorrow. Terrible. Swing. Eldrazi Temple. Glaring Fleshraker. Another Shardless Agent. We'll go to 16. I think this is a spot where I want to use the Atali's Favor, because this gives me an extra permanent, and hopefully with 5 we can do something good here. Discover 3. We hit an Ardent Plea. Cascade. We'll play the Glimpse of Tomorrow. 5 permanents. Well, that wasn't great. I will say no. I do not want to destroy Ardent Plea. Missed opportunity that turn. And now we'll pass. We only have one more Glimpse of Tomorrow in the deck. They play Urza's Tower. They play a Mind Stone. Chalice of the Void. And now a Kozilek's Command for 3. And I'm dying pretty quickly here. I'm at 10. And now they have a Karn the Great Creator. I'm at 9. I'm guessing Karn the Great Creator has a Trinisphere in the sideboard. Grafdigger's Cage. We drew the 3rd Glimpse of Tomorrow. Oh, what is it with me and suspend spells? Gaia's Will too just always wants to be in my hand. Alright, not going to lie, that was fairly miserable. But hopefully we do better in match number 2, and hopefully I will see you there. Packs.com is the new way to open your favorite cards. It's a site where you open digital packs of trading cards like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and One Piece cards, and have the cards you open mailed quickly and securely to you. With a wide range of packs to choose from, such as the latest Magic sets, Kaladesh inventions, or even beta. I'm going to open a beta pack. What's great about Packs.com is you can see all of the cards and their odds of being opened in each pack. Now it's time to open one and see what I get. Come on, Black Lotus! If you don't like what you opened, you could sell it back instantly for more packs, or sell it and pick a specific card from the marketplace over at packs.com/market. If you want to check out packs.com, make sure to click the link in the description of this video and use code STORM5 when making a purchase for 5% extra on your first purchase. Match number 2, let's try to bounce back. We are on the play. Our opponent has revealed a Kaheera the Orphan Guard, and I've opened up double Glimpse of Tomorrow. We will mulligan. This hand is not great, but I think it might be fine. We'll keep and get rid of the Trumpeting Carnosaur. Our opponent's likely playing an Azorius control deck. We have the ability to grab 2 lands, and then we need to find a 3rd just to play a Cascade spell. We drew another Cascade spell. I will cycle the Generous End. We'll grab Stomping Ground, and we'll play it. So one gripe I have with the deck list today, and I'm not trying to blame Wesley, but Surveil lands are one of the most broken cycles ever printed, and we're just not playing them. I really think that there should be a Surveil land or 2 in the deck. Add some consistency, help us find our land drops or other things. I think it would go a long way. They play a Flow State. We did not hit land 3, but we can play a Wave Sifter here, create some material. They play a Breeding Pool into Narset Parter of Veils. Orm's Chant. Alright, it looks like we need to hit our land right now. That was not it. I will play another Wave Sifter. I believe we have lost. Our hand is 5 Cascade spells because we're playing 16 of them, which honestly might be too many. They use the Narset. They find another Flow State. They Surveil with the Meticulous Archive. I mean, I did have chances to win this game. I just never hit the 3rd mana. They discard a Galvanic Discharge, so you're playing Breeding Pool and Galvanic Discharge. Kind of wild. Another Cascade spell. I will pass the turn. Is this a Sacron Scepter? What are you doing? Wrath of the Skies? It is in fact Wrath of the Skies. I will draw off a clue and then have my other 3 clues destroyed. And now they play Flow State again. I mean, if I draw an untapped land, I'm going to just play one of the Cascade things even for 3 and just pray that it's good enough. Because I might not get another opportunity. They just keep on tapping out. And I cannot draw a 3rd land. They have an Orange Chant to their hand and they're tapping out. We'll play Wave Sifter. Now Flow State, the Fairy Time Raveler. I'm going to just concede. I don't know about you, but right now it seems like this deck is not well positioned. In fact, it might have been better pre-unbanning of Violent Outburst. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. I guess we bring in some number of Foundation Breakers, get rid of the Paragon of the Ways, and maybe one copy of Atali's Favor. We'll try this. Game 2 on the play. I mean, this is another one-lander, and it has a Glimpse of Tomorrow. I think we have to send this one back. This is a no-lander. We'll go to 5. I just don't know. Go to 4? At least this one has 2 lands. We'll get rid of Glimpse of Tomorrow, the Trumpeted Carnosaur, and maybe I'm just not allowed to... Maybe I just have to jam. So we'll play our land, pass. They have a Flooded Strand. We'll play the Coney Garden. Maybe I'll get lucky and they'll tap out for a turn 2 flow state and not have Force of Negation. They brought in Veil of Summer. They play Flooded Strand. We'll play Wooded Foothills and pass the turn, because if they tap out, I could Violent Outburst, Meticulous Archive, and they are not tapping out this time. I guess I'll fetch. We'll grab Temple Garden. This would be another great spot to have a Surveil land in our deck. Trumpeted Carnosaur. I will pass. They have a Mystic Gate, and now a Flow State. We drew Stomping Ground, play the Wave Sifter, and then pass the turn. They play Thundering Falls. We'll fetch, grab Sacred Foundry, and then draw off a clue token. I think we might have to try to set up multiple cascade effects. Chancellor of the Forge was not a good draw. Draw off the clue token, play Flooded Strand, and pass. The Teferi Time Raveler. Yeah. But I can kill the Teferi with the Trumpeted Carnosaur, so if they get too confident here, I could actually pull one over on them, but I don't think they're going to. I guess I could get lucky and draw into another Cascade spell, and that might work also. We'll use the Trumpeted Carnosaur and kill the Teferi. We'll grab Hallowed Fountain. I did not draw in anything useful. I will suspend a Glimpse of Tomorrow. Pass the turn. They play Narset Parter of Veils. They find Orm's Chant. Glimpse of Tomorrow loses a suspend counter. Alright, I'm sort of at a loss here, so I'm going to just start playing things. Here's a Generous End. Pass the turn. 4 mana for a Wandering Emperor. They make another Samurai token. They use Narset Parter of Veils. They find another one. And Teferi Time Raveler. Alright, I've seen enough. We are now 0-2.
Building a new deck usually means getting hit with a dozen different shipping fees from a dozen different sellers. It adds up fast, and honestly, it's the worst part of buying cards. That's why I switched to Card Trader Zero. You shop their global marketplace, but instead of having every seller ship to you, they ship to Card Trader's hub first. Card Trader then packs everything into a single shipment for you, and it saves a small fortune on shipping fees. This package from Card Trader just arrived. These are 4 Dark Rituals that came from 4 different sellers, but they all arrived in one envelope, and every card was quality checked by the Card Trader team before it hit my door. Check out the link in the description to try Card Trader Zero's optimizer for yourself. Stop paying for multiple shipments and get just one.
Match number 3. Are we actually allowed to do the thing, or will we face another pile of hate cards? Alright, so this hand is capable of actually casting Shardless Agent. It does not make anything to do beforehand. I mean, I think you're supposed to keep it and just hope you draw into something that creates tokens. We'll play the Drowner of Truth as a land and pass. They play a Hedge Maze, Drowner of Truth, and we'll pass. Our opponent now plays a turn 2 Breeding Pool, and it looks like we're dead. They're on Neoform. Even if I held open the Trumpeted Carnosaur, it was not good enough. They just have a turn 2 win by the looks of it. And they do. Alright. Still unable to do the thing. Turn 3 is just too slow. We'll want Subtlety here. We do not need Trumpeting Carnosaur or the Shiko Paragon of the Way. I guess we'll try this. So one big difference between Living End and this Glimpse of Tomorrow deck, Living End has main deck copies of Force of Negation. It has Wistfulness, so when your opponent plays a Chalice of the Void or Vexing Bauble in the main deck, you're not just stone cold dead. The deck we're playing, it's struggling, I'll say that. It just seems like it's almost too linear and it needs a little bit more wiggle room in it. Like it does exactly one thing, and sometimes it does it okay, I guess. I'm not trying to be overly negative here, but I feel like you need an above average draw like the one we have right now in order to actually do the thing. And I think that's a little problematic. We'll play Colony Garden and pass the turn. They have Misty Rainforest and a turn 1 Allosaurus Rider. Well, now I'm punished for boarding out the Trumpeting Carnosaurs. We'll play Sacred Foundry, pass the turn. They fetch with Misty Rainforest, and they surveil with Hedge Maze. We need them to not have Neoform. They surveil away a Gulta. Okay. There's the breeding pool. They attack, no blocks. End step, we will use the Devouring Sugar Maw to make a 1/1 and a food token. We'll fetch with the Flooded Strand. So I could play the Atali's Favor, and I'm not against it, but my thought here is if they have like a Boseiju who endures in hand, that's a card that can interact with it, and I'd rather not open myself up to that. Charlotte's Agent, Glimpse of Tomorrow, the Veil of Summer, sure. This is not a win, but I do get to Glimpse of Tomorrow again, so that's something, right? Maybe the next one could be a win, who knows? And now the Atali's Favor hits Violent Outburst into Glimpse of Tomorrow. Atali's Favor, we'll put it on the Chancellor, I guess. We want the Chancellor triggers to be on the way on the bottom. And our opponent is conceding. Okay. Maybe 2 Carnosaur. Well, I guess Carnosaur is still 3 mana. That assumes that I live that long. I'm going to just resubmit and pray, I think. The best thing I can do in this spot. Game 3, we've opened up yet another 1-land hand. We will mulligan. It's technically capable of doing the thing, so we'll keep. The question is, do I get a third turn? Probably not. They kept 7. That is a turn 1 Allosaurus Rider. We'll play Flooded Strand. Pass. Maybe they respect like a consign or something if I hold open Flooded Strand. I don't know. They swing, so clearly I'm not dead. Colony Garden, which is actually worse than the Devouring Sugar Maw here. They missed on their second land, so I need them to miss again. It looks like they did not draw land number 2 again. Another Allosaurus Rider. They have 2 cards left in their hand. We'll grab a Temple Garden. Ouch. Devouring Sugar Maw. We'll play the Sacred Foundry. Of course, we drew a Glimpse of Tomorrow. Atali's Favor. So it resolves Discover 3. They have a Consign to Memory. We'll attack. Looks like I'm not dead. They're swinging. No blocks. I'll go to 5. 2 cards still in their hand. We'll play Colony Garden and Ardent Plea. Another Consign to Memory. Attack for 2. So now I need another. Well, they hit the land. So if their last card is Neoform, it's not apparently. So I'll block and go to 2. I do have the food token as well. Colony Garden. And I think I'll just pass here. They swing. I'm going to double block. And then before damage, we'll use the food token to gain 3. I am at 2. That is 7 mana. That is still very far away. I guess if I drew the basic forest, I could play it next turn. Seems pretty unlikely, though. Play the Flooded Strand. Pass. I'm going to die to Allosaurus Rider Beatdown. We'll block. Fetch down to 1. I would take a Generous Ench off the top rope. That would be a great draw. But I cannot use Atali's Favor. I'm dead. There's nothing I can do here. I cannot play this on my opponent's creature. Alright, they got me. We are now 0-3. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Can we get a win? That's what we're trying to figure out here. We're on the play for match number 4. Double Glimpse of Tomorrow. Mulligan. So you could bottom the Glimpse of Tomorrow. You have the Chancellor, but you're 2 lands away. I think you just have to send this back. This is miserable. We're going to 4. Best hand we've seen by far. Okay. Chancellor of the Forge. We'll play Sacred Foundry and attack. They have a Steam Vents into Faithless Looting and Lava Dart. I guess this guarantees us our third land. Swing. They dredge Stinkweed Imp into Lava Dart and Arclight Phoenix. We'll fetch. Grab Breeding Pool. Cycle the Generous Ent. Grab Basic Forest, I guess. I don't think it really matters. Ardent Plea. We'll cast Glimpse of Tomorrow. Do you Lava Dart in response? They're going to fetch. Surveil. Trumpeting Carnosaur into Shardless Agent. Into Glimpse of Tomorrow. No. Alright, looks like our fun ended. Unfortunately, we will pass. They play Otherworldly Gaze. And now another copy of Otherworldly Gaze. Stomping Ground. And now they flash back Otherworldly Gaze into another Arclight Phoenix. So that's 2 copies of Phoenix. They can Lava Dart once here and bring back 2. They do Lava Dart. And now they swing. I go to 12. And step I'll go to 11. We'll fetch. Grab Breeding Pool. The Devouring Sugar Maw. I will sacrifice an Ardent Plea. Violent Outburst. Unfortunately, I cannot cast you. We'll attack for 8. They're at 5. Cycle Generous Ent. We'll grab Temple Garden and play it. Hope that I'm not dead. In their upkeep, they flash back another copy of Otherworldly Gaze. A 3rd Arclight Phoenix to the graveyard. So now they can dredge Stinkweed Imp. And they hit another Lava Dart. That's exactly 11. That is crazy. I just died. Maybe I wasn't supposed to fetch? Turns out they had a Lava... Or no, did you just float a red? Or is that the same Lava Dart? Those are the 2 from the graveyard. And now they swing. This one might be my own fault for fetching. I'm not sure. Was I really supposed to bank on my opponent hitting more Phoenix into more Lava Darts? I wasn't considering that at the time, but it is what happened. We'll bring in Leyline of the Void. Get rid of the Atali's Favor versus a deck full of Lava Darts. It's just not going to be good. We probably don't need Trumpeting Carnosaur. I'm going to bring in a couple copies of Foundation Breaker just to make sure that I don't lose to like a Vexing Bauble or something out of them. Like, the deck with Lava Dart probably isn't playing it, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. We'll try this. They could have a Chalice of the Void for 0. Game 2 on the play. Sure. So we need to find 1 mana. I have 3 pregame effects. Alright, Leyline of the Void, Leyline of the Void, Chancellor of the Forge. We'll play the Drowner of Truth and attack for 1. They play Arid Mesa for Blood Crypt and turn 1 Thoughtseize. Surprise, surprise, they take the Shardless Agent. We draw another Glimpse of Tomorrow. I want to say Glimpse the Impossible, but it's Glimpse of Tomorrow. I really do hate all of these suspend cards. Gaia's Will, Glimpse of Tomorrow, they always end up in my hand. They fetch with Scalding Tarn. They play a Tidecaller. And now a Burning Inquiry. Well, maybe they can fix my hand here. A little bit. We'll fetch Temple Garden, I guess. We'll play Sacred Foundry. Violent Outburst. We only have 1 Glimpse of Tomorrow left. The opponent concedes. A little early there, but sure. Resubmit. Unfortunately, I don't think you're supposed to keep this. You have a Glimpse of Tomorrow in your hand. You have 1 land. Triple Cascade spell. There's got to be a better 6. This is a 2-lander. I guess I'll keep. There's no Leyline, but I don't think you're supposed to mulligan to Leyline. They play Scalding Tarn, and they fetch. Burning Inquiry. Well, they hit my land, but I drew another one. Well, in theory, they really hit 2 lands, because they got my Generous Ent. They Lava Dart the plant token, and then they fetch and pass. No! Why? They play a Tidecaller, a Mountain, and now Life from the Loam. They milled themselves. Okay. And now they Lava Dart. This is the 2nd spell of the turn, right? Yeah, were you just trying to spike another Lava Dart? That seems a little greedy. But unfortunately, nothing matters, and I will continue to draw trash. Pass the turn. They're playing Surgical Extraction. I wasn't expecting that, but it makes sense in their deck. Maybe I should be expecting this? I don't know. They fetch with Wooded Foothills. Surveils away another copy of Life from the Loam. Another Colony Garden. Pass the turn. They dredge Life from the Loam and hit 3 lands. Seems ideal. Now they flash back Otherworldly Gaze. They play Arid Mesa. Still 5 cards in their hand. And now another Life from the Loam. Mills over another Surgical Extraction. We did not draw a 3rd blue land. I will go to cleanup. There's 17 cards left in their deck. They flash back a Faithless Looting. Discards an Arclight Phoenix. And then they dredge away another. I mean, odds are... there's so few cards left in their deck that they were going to hit some good stuff on this. Creeping Chill. So this will knock me down to 13. They have all 4 Phoenix, right? 1, 2, 3. Lava Dart. So if they Lava Dart and hit the 4th Phoenix, I'm dead. I think there's still a Life from the Loam in their hand, too. So they could Life from the Loam, mill themselves, Lava Dart me, and guarantee the 4th Phoenix. So I'm just dead. They can dredge their entire deck. Unless it's in their hand, so they're going to Lava Dart me. It's another Chill. The Chill kills me, too. And they did have Vexing Baubles, so I wasn't wrong for boarding in Foundation Breaker. And now they flash back Otherworldly Gaze. This will trigger the Phoenix and kill me. So we went 0-4. Unfortunately, I do have a rule here on the channel, which is if I go 0-4, I do not play match number 5. So Wesley, I'm sorry. I could not get a win for you. But I have some thoughts on how you can possibly make this better. Alright, here's the deck list. So 16 Cascade effects felt like a lot. And I think that you could probably get away with just being Teamer. You don't necessarily need white. So I would start by shaping up the mana and getting rid of white altogether. Because it's really only giving you Ardent Plea plus this Shiko Paragon of the Way, which in my opinion is win more. Yeah, I guess you get Devouring Sugar Maw is another thing that gives you 2 pieces of material. But I'm guessing there's something else you could play in Teamer that would do the same thing. I think 4 color is too much on the mana base. There was a game or 2 where we lost because my colors just didn't work. So that was a little disappointing. I think in general, there's not enough mana sources. I felt like there's a lot of mulligans that I would have liked to have kept, but I was just stuck on 1 land. So I would play a few more mana sources. I'd probably play 4 copies of Glimpse of Tomorrow. This way, if you draw 1, it's less backbreaking, knowing there's a couple more still in the deck. So those are my thoughts, at least for the main deck. I would get rid of white, and then, just go straight Teamer. I think we'll be fine. My other thought is a little less fun if you are interested in playing this deck, which is it's probably just not the right time for it. And it stinks to say that, but there's a lot of hate right now due to Living End, and this deck is sort of just a worse version of Living End. You do not have Wistfulness to deal with Vexing Bauble. You don't have Force of Negation. You're just very all-in, and I think that the all-in deck needs to be sneaky in order for it to win. And right now, it's the opposite of sneaky. It's just loud and out there. So this is a deck that might be better at a different point in time. It probably would have been better a month ago before the unban happened. But that's all I've got for tonight. So thank you, Wesley, for the donation deck. I'm sorry I didn't do better, but sometimes that's just how it breaks. Thank you to everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming. Hey, thanks for checking out today's video. You might also like packs.com, where you can open digital packs of trading cards like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and One Piece, and then have the physical cards mailed quickly and securely to you. What's nice about packs.com though, you can see the percentages of all of the rare hits in each pack. Once again, go check out packs.com.